Well, the time is just gone 20 minutes to 9. We continue, and this is of major concern. Once again, Cape Town, and we know how Cape Town is riddled with crime, with gangsters and gangsterism, and this is a major issue in Cape Town. Now, yesterday we learned about gun wielding gangsters targeting Prasa and derailing the repairs that were taking place on the Western Cape train lines. And we're going across now to be joined by Imraahn Mukaddam just to provide us with the update. And last night we had the opportunity of talking to Imraahn Mukaddam on another matter, on the whole issue surrounding the problem with food prices in the country. And Imraahn Mukaddam has been popularly known as the bread price champion, but he also does a lot of work within the local communities in Cape Town, and also the head of the Inspire Media Networks. Imran, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Islam, very nice again, and to the listeners as well.
Well, talking to you twice in 2 days, and I must say it's an absolute honor, as always, Imran. Now, gangsterism, a huge issue in Cape Town, and it has been for as long as I can remember. But yeah, now we are sitting with a situation where we're looking at PRASA conducting train line repairs, and this is now being derailed by gun wielding gangsters. What are the issues here, Imran?
Um, mm, well, our local gangs in Cape Town has evolved into armed militias now. They've basically taken up a position against the state. That's my view of it. If you can extort money even from the state um, when repairing infrastructure, that means they've evolved to a extent that they're now territorial militias that occupy territory. And we're seeing this throughout, not only with regards to the extortion of businesses, but also contractors in township areas. We had 2 weeks ago the issue with ISCOP that couldn't work in Kailicha, and they had to suspend the infrastructure repairs there for a week before they could commence after the intervention of the Kailicha Development Forum. And now we're seeing the same thing happen with Prasa. So clearly, these gangsters have taken a position that they are a parallel state to the South African government. And our position, as um, I'm also part of the United Public Safety Front, is that these people have taken up arms against the state, and we cannot tolerate this kind of um, conduct. And it's again, as we spoke last night, it's an indication of the weakness of our state and the weakness of our democracy at the moment. Is that this kind of opportunistic takeover of our infrastructure is being tolerated, and it's just an indication of how weak we've become as a government in this
Well,
country.
we certainly have, because this is actually unbelievable that we are talking now about a parallel state, and in this particular instance, with regard to Prasa, they've been cut out of security contracts on Cape Town's railways. So, on the one hand, you are talking about gangsterism, and on the other hand, you want to be part and parcel of the apparatus.
Yes, and even with development, we had another issue also about 2 weeks ago. We even the KFC, building had to be refurbished, and the one contractor brought in a gang to chase away the other contractor that got the contract. So actually becoming so territorial that nothing can happen in territories that they've occupied without the consent and without the involvement. And this is totally unacceptable. And we really have to look at it from a language perspective. That as long as we see this only as gang activity and extortion, we won't be able to deal with it. When we speak about these as armed militias that is occupying activity, then it's an insurrection against the state, and the state must to act, because you can't tolerate a situation where these armed youngsters can just take over. And if you look at the weaponry that they have, it's AK-47s, submachine guns, no longer, just this, and the Western Cape is flooded with guns at the moment, and it's really becoming an intolerable situation that we're looking at the kidnappings, we're looking at extortion, we're looking at the sophisticated nature, the syndication that's happening. It's really that there are well organized militias that have now criminal militias that have now really taken over and starting to take over a lot of our infrastructure development and repairs. I mean, also with the PRASA, I think there's another element that needs to be taken into account is that our local taxi industry, taxi is also doing very well. Central line being out of commission. It's the line that feeds both Mitchell's Plain and Karicha into town. And if that line is repaired, a lot of commuters will be switching back to using railway. So there's an element of that taxi industry also have vested interest in ensuring that the central line remains stagnant.
Yes, Imran, and again, once again, the focus is on the state and on the government and its inability to provide the necessary security and protection as well. And this is indicative of what we've been seeing in movies over the years. When we see movies like looking at how the mafia used to operate in Italy, and when one looks at Latin America and the drug cartels and how they had started making inroads into state-run initiatives and wanting control, and this is actually becoming a norm in South Africa.
Yes, and this is where we, as again, as ordinary citizens, is we are so powerless because the state is tolerating this kind of situation in a situation where the state infrastructure is being attacked and being derailed the way it is being done in South Africa. This is even beyond the police. This is something that you actually have to call in your specialized forces to protect state infrastructure, especially railways, especially your power infrastructure. And there's just no sense of urgency on the part of both the Western Cape government and the national government in realizing how serious the situation has become, and that they've allowed it to escalate to the level that it is right now. We have the brazenness and the of these people that they can actually parade with semi-automatic machine guns and threatening the state to say, if you want to operate here, you have to pay. And if you don't pay, you can't on this line. How can we had situations where the roads in some of our communities where the contractors doing potholes have to pay protection fees or extortion in order to complete contracts working on the roads. How can we tolerate scenarios like this?
Well, Imran, Jazakallah khairan so much for that and for talking to us once again this morning and covering this particular issue. We wish you all the best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And to the listeners of Salam Media as well.
Imraahn Mukaddam was us this morning, and with it, the time is just gone 10 minutes to 9. We're going to go for a break. We come back, and it's a weekly edition of Crime Talk with Etiquette Secure.